Yes, Captain, you may continue from where we left off yesterday.
Thank you, my Lord. Yesterday I was on page 2 of 5. There is a table 1 there. I mentioned the first column, which in the first column I mentioned the samples that were sent to the forensic science laboratory for comparison purposes.
Izolo-ke uma siqedelela-ke bengisakhuluma ngayo-ke page 2 of 5 la futhi ngishona noma ngichaza ngawo-ke amasampuli athunyelwa khona-ke ele ukuthi sisebenze ngawo.
So on the samples we have the swab 1 and the head B with their own container and bag numbers, as well as the reference numbers of the different suspects and their bag numbers as well as their container numbers.
Lana-ke sino swab 1 kanye futhi-ke nesibhoko-ke ekunama-number ama-container ngaphakathi i-container yabe isifaka ngaphakathi-ke kwama-bag nama-number lawo ama-bag kanye-ke nama-sample abo abasolwa nama-number ama-container kanye nama-number awo ama-bag la ama-container ebefakwe kuwona.
I did also do the second column, which also talks to the gender marker, which is amylogenin, that tell us the donor of the DNA, whether it's a male or a female, and if it's a male it's XY, and if it's a female it will then be XX.
Kumileke nalapho na isichazela-ke ukuthi-ke idona leyo noma umuntu loyo-ke we-DNA umuntu wesilisa noma umuntu wesifazane. Uma kuwumuntu wesilisa izothi-ke XY, uma kuwumuntu wesifazane izothi XX.
I also mentioned that on the swab and the head B, we got a DNA that is a result which is a mixture of DNA result.
Ngishilo-ke ukuthi ku-swab 1 kanye futhi nesibhoko-ke lana sipawulo ku-head B ukuthi-ke la khona-ke imiphumela yakhona-ke bekuyimiphumela eyimisha noma-ke ehlangene.
So on the reference sample, I said that it's a single donor profiles because those reference samples were taken from known individuals.
Ngishilo-ke ukuthi-ke kumasampulu-ke abantu noma-ke abasolwa-ke labantu laba-ke ababhaliwe ngamagama laphayana ukuthi-ke i-single donor noma-ke umuntu oyedwa ngoba-ke athathwe kubantu abaziwayo.
So I also mentioned I was on the bigger column, which is written STR loci. Those are the regions of the DNA that we look at, that we know that when we look at those particular regions, we'll be able to identify individuals.
Bese ngikhuluma-ke noma izolo ngikhuluma ngayo-ke lena esithi STR loci, la esithi khona-ke kunendawo eyithize esibheka kuzona esaziyo-ke ukuthi uma sibheka kuzo lezo ndawo lezo-ke umuntu-ke uzotholakala.
So underneath the STR loci, you will see I talk about the DNA regions, the names of the DNA regions, that is D8S1179 up until FG8. Those are just scientific names of the DNA regions that we look at.
Kubekho-ke lama regions-ke eyokuqala-ke ku-D8S1179 kuyofika-ke ku-FGA, amagama-ke nje alezo indawo lezo esibheka kuzona.
So when we end, I was starting to do what we call a DNA comparison to show whether we are reading or we are able to find the DNA of the reference sample in the swab or in the head.
Manje-ke mabese siqedelela-ke yilabe ngisengithi siyaqhathanisa-ke khona ukuthi-ke kulama-sample abantu-ke laba ababhaliwe ngamagama lana ukuthi yini bayatholakala yini ama-DNA abo laphayana ku-swab 1 noma-ke kwisigqoko lesi esibhalwe head B.
My Lord, what is important before I start checking whether I can find their DNA in the swab or in the head is that for us to say a person is included, you have to include the person in all the DNA regions.
okubalulekile-ke ukuthi ukuze sisho-ke ukuthi umuntu-ke uyatholakala-ke noma-ke kuthiwa-ke i-DNA yakhe ikhona lapho kufanele ukuthi afakwe-ke kuma-regions onke.
So reading a person in one single region does not mean that that person is included in the mixture.
Uma-ke umuntu etholakala noma-ke efundeka-ke kwi-region eyodwa akusho ukuthi-ke usekhona-ke kwi-mixture leyo.
Now, what is the position if you read that person in more than one region?
Even if you read him in more than one region, you must, for you to conclude that that person is a contributor to the mixture, you have to read him in all the DNA regions.
Uma kuwukuthi-ke utholakala kuma-regions noma kwi-region engaphezu kweyodwa, ukuze-ke uthi yebo ukhona-ke uyingxenye lapho, kufanele kube ukuthi onke lama-regions-ke akhona-ke ngachazelelana uyatholakala kuwona.
Are there any of these regions or loci that are more important than the others? In other words, that are more distinguishing?
In terms of distinguishing character of the loci, we use them in combination to give us the distinguishing factor. So we combine them. It's not necessarily to say we attach more importance to one than the other. We attach importance to the combination of them all together.
Lamalosi-ke ayahlanganiswa onke-ke ukuthi-ke noma kwenziwe-ke i-combination, hayi ukuthi kuzoba eyodwa-ke esemqoka ukwendlula ezinye, kodwa-ke ziyahlanganiswa zonke kube i-combination.
So that's why I say that for us to say you are a contributor to the mixture, you have to be read in all the DNA region. And if you are a contributor, of course, I did so many DNAs where we are able to read people in the mixtures in all the DNA regions if they indeed contributed to the mixture.
Uma kuwukuthi-ke umuntu-ke ube neqhaza-ke kumixture leyo-ke noma kuhlanganisela lokho-ke sekwenzile-ke amacala amaningi la kutholakala ukuthi umuntu abe khona-ke kuma-regions onke.
Sorry, Captain, if I may interrupt you. Does the quality of the sample determine as whether or not enough DNA can be found to read a person on all the loci?
Yes, the quality of the sample also play a major factor. But what is important is that when the quality is low, sometimes you will get not enough DNA.
Yebo-ke kanye-ke ne-quality-ke yesample leyo-ke noma lokho okuthathwe kumuntu-ke nabo-ke kunomthelela-ke uma kuwukuthi-ke i-quality yakhona-ke iphansi-ke angeke uze uthole i-DNA eyanele.
The fact that the reading is a mixture, does that play any role?
Can you?
The fact that you have a mixture, like in this instance, will that play a role in whether you can find enough DNA for all the loci?
The fact is that, my lord, that in all the loci we indeed got the DNA. So it's not to say that in one of the loci of the mixtures we didn't get DNA. In all the loci of the regions or where we have mixtures, the DNA was there in this case.
Lana-ke kuwo onke-ke lama-regions esikhuluma ngawo akusiyo ukuthi kune-region ethize la engatholakala ngakhona-ke i-DNA. Kuwo onke lawo ma-regions leyo-ke ibe khona noma i-DNA etholakalayo.
Yes, we may proceed.
So, my lord, I'm going to then look just to show, read the reference sample just to check whether the reference sample of individual suspects are read in the mixtures or not.
Manje ngizokwenza-ke ngizofunda-ke noma-ke kukho lana abhalwe khona-ke amasampuli yila athathwe-ke kuba basolwa-ke ukuthi-ke iyatholakala noma uyafundeka yini leyo sample leyo kwi-mixture le esinayo.
Just to repeat that, for us to read a person in one place does not mean that person is read into the mixture. He has to be read totally.
Angikuphinde-ke lokhu ngigcizelele-ke lokhu ukuthi uma umuntu efundwe asithi ke kwi-region eyodwa kodwa ke angatholakali ke kwi-mixture akusho ukuthi lowo uyingxenye ke kufanele ukuthi ke ama-regions lawana onke atholakale kuwona.
My Lord, I'm going to start with MZ Mapisa as the reference sample of MZ Mapisa. If we look at the first DNA region, which is D8 S1179, on the swab we have characters 12, 13, 14 and 15, and on Mapisa we have 13 and 13, which is there. 13 represent the 13 that is there on the swab is also the same 13 that is there on Mapisa.
Manje ke ngizoqala ngaye ke MZ Mapisa. Uma sibheka lapha yana phezulu ke ngaphansi kwakhe uD8S 1179. Amanamba afundekayo lapha yana u12, 13, 14 kanye no15. Uma bese sibheka kuyena ke uMZ Mapisa kuno13, 13 okusho ukuthi ukhona u13 lapha yana phezulu nalo 13 ke okhona kuyena uMapisa.
We will continue. When we continue on D21 S11, you will see that on the swab we have 27, 28, 29 and 30, and on MZ Mapisa we have 28 and 30.2.
Sikhulekeke naye lapha yana kwiswab uma ubheka ke kuno 28, 27, kuno 28, kuno 29, kuno 30. Uma ubheka kuyena ke uMZ Mapisa kuno 28 kanye no 30.2.
So you could clearly see that there is no 30.2 on the swab. So in that case Mapisa is out because we don't have that character 30.2.
Ozobona ke ukuthi lapha yana kwiswab asinayo u30.2. Kuno 30 lapha yana okusho ukuthi ke akekho ke lapha yana uMapisa.
Captain, if I can just take you to the previous loci, D8S1179, you mentioned that the 13 on Mapisa is also present on the swab. Do you rate him in or don't you rate him in?
Yes, in that loci we rate him in.
Laphayana eqaleni ke benthe no 12, 13, 14, 15 bese kuthi eduze kwakhe ke uMapisa MZ Mapisa beno 13, 13 laphayana ke uyafundeka kusho ukuthi ke ukhona ke laphayana.
But on the second one we don't have 30.2 which Mapisa has and the swab have only 30. So in that place we are not reading him in on that second region.
Ngoba ke eduze kwaMapisa na lapha kuno 30.2 akekho ke kwiswab ku 30.2 okusho ukuthi ke lapha yana ke akahlanganiswa.
And as well as the next DNA region which is D7 S820, you will see that the characters are 10, 11 and 12, and if you look at Mapisa has 9 and 9, then Mapisa obviously is not read in that particular region.
Uphinde ubheke ke ngaphansi kwakhe ke uD7S 820 kuno 10, 11 no 12. Uma usubheka ke eduze kwegama lakhe uMZ Mapisa u9 kanye no9 okusho ukuthi ke akuhlanganisi.
So from there there is no point of us continuing reading him in others because we could clearly see from here that even if we were to read him going forward, it won't help because we didn't read him in the first two. So for us to read somebody, we have to read that particular person in all the DNA readings.
Manje ke asisekho isidingo sokuthi sesingaqhubeka ke sifundeke amanye ama-regions ngoba ke sekucacile ke kula awuqala amabili ke ukuthi uMZ Mapisa kubona ke akatholakali ngoba ukuze umuntu ke abe yingxenye noma ke sithi ke simfundeke lapha yana kufanele ukuthi abe khona kuma regions onke.
So in that case we will not continue with Mapisa because we can see that he's excluded in that particular swab.
Ngalokho ke asingeke special qhubeka ke ngaye uMZ Mapisa ngoba ke manje usekhishiwe ke akekho kuleya swap leyana.
So we'll just do the head as well on the same suspect, which is Mapisa. On the head, we'll start the same way as on the first DNA region. You will see that on the head we have 14 and 15, and Mapisa has 13 and 13, of which already he's excluded on that particular head.
Sesizodlulela ke manje kwisigqoko ke naso ke sosifunda ngalendlela ke ebesifunde ngayo ke uswap 1. Uma usuqala ke nje kusona isigqoko uyabona ke ukuthi u14 15 kuyena uMZ Mapisa kube u13 13, lokho sekuyacaca ke ukuthi ke nalapha yana ke ukhishiwe amagama excluded akasiyona ke ingxenye.
So in that case, if we were to continue again if we go again on the second DNA region, you will see that on D21S11, you will see that Mapisa as well has 28 and 30.2, and on the head we have 28, 31, and 31.2, which is excluded as well.
Masiqhubeka ke ngayo kuMapisa sesilandela ke manje okwekolom yesibini ke u28 kanye no30.2 kuyena uMZ Mapisa, bese kuthi kusona ke isigqoko kuba u28 u31 kanye no31.2 sekusho ke ukuthi ukhishiweke akekho lapha yana akatholakala.
So in this instance, my lord, we can clearly see that Mapisa is excluded on both the swab and on the head.
Lana ke sesiyabona ke ukuthi kuzo zombili ke iswap kanye naso isigqoko ukuthi uMapisa akasiyona ke ingxenye noma akatholakala lapha yana.
And then we have another reference sample, Mapisa Mthokozeni, and then we will do the same. On the swab, he has 13 and 13, and then on the swab we have 12, 13, and 14, and 15, and Mthokozeni Mapisa has 13 and 13, which can be read in the first one.
Manje ke sesidlulela kuyena ke uMapisa Mthokoziseni. Sizobona ke lapha yana phezulu eduze kwayo iswap 12 u13 u14 kanye no15, bese kuthi eduze kwaloke igama lakhe uMapisa Mthokoziseni u13 no13. Manje ke kunalo ya 13 ke omhlanganisayo.
Are these two samples of the same person, or are they different persons?
No, they are actually different persons.
Labantu ke abantu ababili abahlukile, akusiyena umuntu oyedwa.
My lord, then you will see that on the next column, you will see that we have 27 on the swab, 27, 28, and 29, and 30. And then on that one, we have 28 and 30.2. So he's also, 30.2 is not there on the swab.
Bese kuthi ke eduze kwalo ke igama lakhe uMapisa Mthokoziseni kuno 28, bese kuba no 30.2, kuyona ke iswap kuno 27, u28, u29 kanye no 30. Akekho ke lapha yana u30.2 okusekusho ukuthi akumhlanganisi.
So we also in this case have so we, in terms of the swap, we will say that Mthokozeni is excluded because we could see clearly that he's not going to be read, he's not read in one of the regions.
Singasho ke manje ukuthi mayelana nayo ke iswap ukuthi yena ke uMthokoziseni akafundeki noma akatholakalile noma kukho kumhlanganisayo lapha okusho ukuthi usekhishiwe.
If you look at this one of F1PO, you will see that there are dots, there are two dots on there. That's where we didn't get a DNA.
Kunalena ke mase sindlulela ngaphambili ke eno CSF1PO yona ke uzobona ke ukuthi nama dots amabili, lokho kuchaza ke ukuthi ke iDNA ayitholakalanga.
And what could be the reason?
The reason is that sometimes when sample is taken, it's possible that in some of the regions we might not get DNA because of like the DNA that was taken was not enough to give us a full profile.
Kuyenzeka-ke ukuthi-ke la ekuthathwa khona-ke i-DNA nama-collagen leyo-ke ekuthathwa kuyona-ke i-DNA uma ngabe ithathwa-ke ayitholakalanga ngoba ibinganele.
So it doesn't matter because already with the ones that we have DNA on is already excluded. Even if we were to get DNA on the one that we didn't get, it won't make a difference because we already have DNA on other regions where he's excluded.
Kodwa-ke lokho bengeke kusize ngalutho-ke ngoba-ke la i-DNA ikhona-ke noma la ibithathwe khona-ke besele ekhishiwe vele noma bekungekho okumhlanganisayo. So in terms of the swab, and as well as if you look at the head as well, Mapisa Mtokozini as well is excluded. Uma ubheka-ke kuyona iswab kanye naso-ke isigqoko lapho-ke umthokoziseni Mapisa usekhishiwe nje akekho lapho.
If we look at the other reference sample, which is BS Ntanzi on the first region he has 12 and 14, and then if you look at the first DNA region of the swab, it has 12, 13, and 14, and 15. So 12 and 14 is there. He's included in the first region.
Uma uzobheka-ke kwi-swab yokuqala kuno-12 swab yokuqala yebo swab 1 kuno-12 kuno-13 kuno-14 kuno-15 bese uthi uma ubheka-ke eduze kwakhe uBS Ntanzi u-12 14 u-12 ukhona kuyena nalapha phezulu kuswab ukhona u-14 ukhona kuyena nakwiswab ukhona u-14.
And the first one, the gender marker, the amylogenin?
No, on the amylogenin is included as well because it's XY and we have XY as well.
Lapha uchazayo ukuthi-ke umuntu wesilisa noma wesifazana-ke ukhona-ke ngoba ku-XY laphayana naye-ke u-XY.
We have to continue. When we continue on D21S11, you will see that on the swab we have 27, 28, 29, and 30, and then on Ntanzi we have 29 and 36. So if you look at the swab, we don't have 36, and we only have 29, of which then we are excluding Ntanzi now.
Uma uzobheka-ke phezulu-ke enzansi kwakhe-ke u-D21S11 kuyona-ke uswab 1 kuno-27 u-28 u-29 kanye no-30 uma usubheka-ke kuNtanzi u-29 kanye no-36 u-36-ke akekho laphayana eduze kweswab sino-29 kuphela lokho kusho ukuthi-ke cha lokho-ke akumhlanganisi noma kumfaki.
We can continue on the swab on D7S820. You will see that we have 10, 11, and 12. Ntanzi has 11 and 11, which we can include him there.
Uzobuya-ke ubheke eduze kwayo-ke noma-ke kuyona iswab kuno swab 1 kuno 10, 11 kanye no 12. Uma ubheka-ke eduze kwegama lakhe uNtanzi kuno 11 no 11 lokho okusho ukuthi-ke kuyamhlanganisa ngoba u11 ukhona laphayana nakuyena ukhona u11.
And if you continue SF1PO, we have 8, 10, and 12, and Ntanzi has 10, of which 10 is there, and then we can read him there.
Uma usubheka-ke eduze kwakhe noma-ke enzansi kwakhe u-CSF1PO amanamba khona u8 u10 no12. Uma ubheka-ke uNtanzi u10 no10 okusho ukuthi-ke u10 ukhona laphayana kanye nakuNtanzi-ke ukhona okusho ukuthi-ke usungamrida-ke noma umfunde ukuthi ukhona laphayana.
So if we continue D3S1358, we have 14, 15, and 16, and Ntanzi has 16, so we can read him as well there.
Uma usubheka-ke ku D3S1358 laphayana amanamba u14 u15 kanye no16 eduze-ke kwakhe uNtanzi-ke ngaphansi kwayo-ke leyo column leyo u16 no16 okusho ukuthi-ke u16 loyana-ke uyamhlanganisa ngokukhona u16 lapha phezulu.
On TH01 you will see that on the swab we have 7 and 8. However, Ntanzi has 7 and 9, of which we can't read him there.
uma uzobheka ke ku THO1 yona ke iswap amanamba khona u7 no8 u78 bese kuthi kuntanzi ke u7 no9 u9 akekho ke lapha ukuthi ke akwazi ke ukuthi ungathi uyamfaka lapha.
So because already we didn't read him in one place at D21 S11, now we are not reading him at TH01.
Nanjengoma ke bese singamhlanganisanga noma ke ebengatholakalanga ke la ngaphansi ko D21 S11 kanye no THO1 akafunalapho akatholakalanga.
Even in the next DNA region D13 S1 S317 as well, the swap has 12 and 12, and Tanzi has 11 and 12, of which also we don't read him there.
Bese kuthi nakwelandelayo ke uD13 S317 yona ino 12 no 12, bese kuthi uNtanzi abe no 11 no 12, nalapho ke awukwazi ukuthi ungamhlanganisa.
So we won't continue because already we could see that it won't help because we are not reading him in all the DNA regions.
Manje ke asingeke sibe saqhubeka ke ngoba ke angeke kusize ngoba akatholakali kuwona onke ama regions.
So in total, in how many DNA regions do you read him in?
In total, if I were to check now, it's one, the XY, the D8 S1179, the D7, that is number 3, number 4, which is SF1PO, number 5, here we don't read him, here we don't read him, here we read him, here we don't, which is D2S1138, we also don't read him. Here we read him. This is D19S433. Here we don't read him. FWA, we don't read him. Here we read him. At T-Prox, we read him. We don't read him here. At D18SF1, we also we read him here, and then we read him here. So out of 16 regions, we are reading him on 10.
Kuma regions ke awu 16 awu 10 atholakala kuwona ke uNtanzi noma ke amhlanganisayo ke uNtanzi.
Captain, can you maybe just do the rest of the loci? You stop at D13 S317. Can you do the rest of the regions and indicate whether you read him in or out?
Okay. Which one do you?
You can continue from D16 S539.
Oh, S539. Okay. So D16S539, you will see that the swap has 11 and 12, and Tanzi has 9, 11, 12, and 14. That is a mixture, and then Tanzi has 11 and 12, which you can see in the mixture.
Base kuthi masibheka phansi kwakhe ke uD16S539 amanamba akhona ke okuyimixture ke leyana u9 11 u12 kanye no14 bese kuthi ke uNtanzi uno11 kanye no12.
So you read him in and out on that loci?
On that loci you are reading him.
Laphayana ke uyatholakala ke.
However, go to the next one, D2S1338. You will see that on the swap we have 19 and 24. Ntanzi has 16 and 19. So for us to read Ntanzi, we must have 16 as well in that mixture. So we are not reading it.
laphayana ke ku D2S 1338 u19 no24 bese kuthi ke kuntanzi u16 no19 ukuze ke simfundeke lapha sithi ukhona laphayana kufanele ukuthi ke u16 abe khona kodwa ke akekho u16 laphayana.
So we'll go to the next DNA region, which is D19S433. You will see that the mixture has 7, 11, 13, 14, and 15.2, and Ndanzi has 13 and 14. 13 and 14 is there on the swap, so we are reading him.
Bese kuthi ku D19S433 ama numbers atholakalayo ke laphayana ke u7, 11, 13, 14, 15.2 bese kuthi ke kuntanzi kutholakala u13 kanye no14 kusho ukuthi lo13 kanye no14 anaye ke uyatholakala laphayana phezulu kuyona iswap.
So on VWA in that DNA regions we have 16, 18 and 19 on the swap, and then if you look at Ntanzi has 15 and 16, so we are not reading him because we don't have 15 on the swap.
Bese kuthi ku VWA ama numbers akhona laphayana u16, u18 kanye no19 kuntanzi ke kuno15 kanye no16 ngoba ke laphayana ke u15 akekho asikwazi ke ukuthi ke siyamfaka noma ukhona laphayana.
On TPOX you will see that we have characters 8, 9, 10 and 11 on the swap, and then on Tanzi we have 8 and 11 on that one we can read him.
Bese kuthi ke ku TPOX ama characters akhona ke laphayana u8, u9, u10 no11 kanye masibheka ke duze kwegama lakhe ke uNtanzi kuno8 kanye no11 kusho ke ukuthi ke laphayana ke uyatholakala.
On D18S51, that DNA region, on the swap we have 17, 18 and 20, and then Ntanzi has 14 and 18, so we are not reading him because we don't have 14 on the swap.
Bese kuthi ke ku D18S51 ama characters akhona ke u17, u18 kanye no20 bese kuthi ke kuntanzi u14 kanye no18 manje ke asimhlanganisi ke laphayana ngoba ke u14 akekho laphayana phezulu.
So on D5S1 S818 you will see we have 11, 12 and 13 characters on the swap, and on Ntanzi we have 11 and 13. We are able to read him there.
Bese kuthi ku D5S818 ama characters akhona ke lapha u11, u12 kanye no13 kuntanzi ke u11 no13 kusho ukuthi ke la ama number u11 no13 bakhona ke laphayana uyamhlanganisa.
So on the last one, which is FGA, we have 23, 24 and 26, and then on the swap and on Tanzi we have 23 and 23, of which we are able to read that 23 in that mix, on that swap.
Bese kuthi ke kweyogcina ke ebhalwe uFGA laphayana u23, u24 kanye no26 bese kuthi kuntanzi ke u23 no23 okusho ukuthi ke loya 23 loyana okuntanzi ke uyatholakala laphayana kuya FGA.
So we are able to read him in some of the DNA regions, but not in all the DNA regions.
Okusho ukuthi ke uyatholakala ke kuma regions athile eDNA kodwa akatholakali kuwona onke.
And the previous sample of Mapisa Mtokosizeni, out of how many regions do you read him? Out of 16? Or in how many regions do you read him?
I'm just going to count it for you. Only 4.
Yena ke umthokoziseni yena ke kuma regions atholakala noma akhona kuwona ke kula awu16 utholakala kwawu4.
You've already indicated the first one, the gender marker, as well as the D8S1179. Which are the other two?
The other one is D3S1358.
Ngaphandle kwalawo qala amabili ke atholakala kuwona umthokosini maphisa elandelayo uD3S1358.
And then, if you look at the one before the last, which is D5S1818, which is 13 and 13, so we also reading there.
Ubese ubheka lena ke ephambi nje kwaleyo gcina ke D5S818 u13 otholakala kuyena no13 otholakala lapha yana ke ilezo eziwu4.
Yes, you can continue to the next sample. Ngqube.
If you go to Ngqube, just to finalize the intansi, is that he's excluded on that particular swab because we are not reading him in all the DNA regions.
Bese kuthi ke uma singaphambi ukuthi siqhubeke ngaye uNqube, uma singabuyela emuva kena ke uNtanzi ukuthi ke kuleya swab leyana ke uyakhishwa ke ngoba akatholakali kuwona onke ama region.
And we will do Ntanzi as well on the head. On the head, you will see the first DNA region has 14 and 15, and Ntanzi has 12 and 14. On this first region, we can see that he's not read fully.
Bese siqhubeka ngaye ke uNtanzi manje uma sibheka sona ke isigqoko uzobona ke ukuthi kusona isigqoko u14 no15 uyena uNtanzi u12 no14 lapha yana ke akatholakali ngokuphelele.
So on the second one, on the head we have 28, 31 and 31.2, and then Ntanzi has 29 and 36. So you can see that on the head as well Ntanzi is excluded.
Bese kuthi kusona ke isigqoko lapha yana sona kufundeka ngalendlela ke u28, u31 no31.2 bese kuthi kuyena uNtanzi u29 kanye no36 okusho ke ukuthi lapho ke siyamkhipha.
So in that way for I can conclude here that on both the swab and the head I can exclude Ntanzi.
Lapho ke singasho ke nje nakuzona zombili ke iswab kanye naso isigqoko ukuthi ke uNtanzi siyamkhipha.
And then we go to Ngqube. On Ngqube, you could see that on the gender marker is XY. We can see on both mixtures from the head and the swab is XY. We can include him there.
Uma sibheka kuyena ke uNqube ukuthi ke eduze kwakhe ke iyachaza ukuthi umuntu wesilisa ngoba ke uXY futhi kuzo zombili ke iSwab 1 kanye ke nesigqoko uXY ukuthi ke lapho ke siyamfaka.
And then when we go to the swab 1 on D8S1179, you will see that we have on the swab 12, 13, 14 and 15, and then Ngqube has 12 and 14, so we can read Ngqube on the swab.
Bese kuthi ke kuyona ke uswab 1 ngaphansi ko D8S1179 fundeka ngalendlela ke u12, u13, u14 kanye no15 bese kuthi ke eduze kwakhe ke uNqube u12 no14 lokho kuthi ke uyafundeka noma ke uyatholakala ke lapha kuya swab ngalo ya 12 nalo ya 14.
And then as we continue on the swab, you will see that we have on the swab on D21S11 is 27, 28, 29 and 30 on the swab, and then Ngqube has 28, so we are reading him there.
Bese kuthi ke ku swab 1 ngaphansi kwakhe ke uD21S11 kufundeka ke u27, u28, u29 kanye no30 bese kuthi ke eduze kwakhe uNqube kube u28 no28 okusho ukuthi ke lapha yana ke iswab nakuNqube ke kuyahlangana uyafundeka noma uyatholakala khona.
On D7S820 on the swap you have 10, 11 and 12, and then Ngqube has 9 and 11. So you could see that on the swap we don't have 9, so we are not fully including Ngqube there.
Bese kuthi ke kuyona ke iswap leyana ke 10, 11 kanye no 12, bese kuthi kuyona uNgqube 9 kanye no 11, okusho ukuthi ke noma ke ukuthi uyafundeka lapha kodwa ke hayi ngokuphelele.
If you say we're not fully including him, or what do you mean?
No, I mean on that particular law side we don't have 9, of which on that D7 as 820 you see that for us to say he's included in that law side, we must have 9 on the swap, of which we don't have. We only have 11.
Laphayana ke kuphezulu ku D7S 820 u10, 11 no 12, uNgqube u9 no 11, okusho ukuthi ke lapha phezulu u9 asinaye, uNgqube sinayo u9 kodwa ke sino 11 lapha kufanele ukuthi ke fanele ukuthi lo ya 9 abe khona ukuze afundeke ngokuphelele.
Do you read him in or out on this law side?
On this law side we is out.
Lana ke singathi nje acha iyamkhipha.
So we need to continue to the next one. On the next one, which is SF1PO, we have 8, 10 and 12, and then Ngqube has 10 and 10, so we read it in that one.
Bese kuthi ke elandelayo uCSF1PO yona ino 8, 10 no 12, Ngqube yena uno 10 kanye no 10, okusho ukuthi lapha yana kuleyana ke uyatholakala uyamhlanganisa.
So if we continue, you will see that on D3S1358, on the swap we have 14, 15 and 16. We have Ngqube has 16 and 16, so we are including him there.
Bese kuthi ke kwelandelayo uD3S1358 ino 14, 15 kanye no 16, uNgqube uno 16 no 16, okusho ukuthi khona lapha yana ukhona.
So we'll continue on TH01 or so. You will see that on this one TH01 we have 7 and 8, and Ngqube has 8 and 8, so we are reading him there.
Bese kuthi ku TH01 yona ke u7 kanye no 8, bese kuthi ke kuNgqube u8 kanye no 8, okusho ukuthi ke lapha yana ke uyatholakala.
So on D13S317 you will see that we have on the swap 12 and 12, and Ngqube has 12 and 13. So even here we are only reading with 12, but we don't have 13. So this is the second time where we are not reading him fully.
Bese kuthi ke kwelandelayo ke kuno 12 kanye no 12, kwiswap uNgqube yena ke u12 kanye no 13, ukuthi ukuthi ke asimtholi ke noma simfundi ke ngokuphelele lapha yana ukuthi ke say is not included.
Yeah, it's the second time where he's not included.
Manje ke ihlandla lesibili la angatholakala khona ngokuphelele.
And then if you go to the next DNA region, we have D16S539. On the swap we have 9, 11, 12 and 14, and then on Ngqube we have 9 and 10. So we also not reading fully because on the swap we don't have a 10.
Bese kuthi kwelandelayo ke D16S539 u9, 11, 12 kanye no 14, uNgqube u9 no 10, okusho ukuthi ke asimfundi ngokuphelele nalapha noma asimtholi ngokuphelele nalapha ngoba u10 akekho lapha phezulu.
So on the swap, on the next one is D2S1338. We have 19 and 24 on the swap, and Ngqube has 21 and 25. And on this law side, we completely not reading him.
Bese kuthi kwelandelayo ke uD2S1338 yona ke u19 kanye no 24, uNgqube u21 no 25, okusho ukuthi nje akatholakala akekho nje.
So my lord, there is no point of us continuing with the others because we could see that we already have 3 places where we are not reading him, and if we don't read him in all the DNA regions, he will then be excluded.
Ngalokho-ke asekho-ke isidingo sokuthi sesingaqhubekali ngoba sesibonile ukuthi kuyindawo eziwu-3 noma kuma-region awu-3 akatholakali. Fanele ukuthi-ke umuntu uma atholakale kuwona onke ama-region. Sesithola ukuthi kwamathathu akekho.
Yes, you can continue with the rest of the loci.
Okay. My Lord, we will continue with the rest of the loci. You will see that on D19S433 we have 7, 11, 13, 14 and 15.2, and Ngube has 12.2 and 12.2, of which we are not reading him on that particular region.
Bese kuthi kwelandelayo-ke D19 S433 yona ino 7, 11, 13, 14 no 15.2. Bese kuthi uNcube yena-ke u12.2 no 12.2, okushoyo-ke ukuthi akekho u12.2 laphayana ayimhlanganisi.
And then when we look at VWA, we have 16, 18 and 19, and then on the swab, and then on the reference sample Ngube we have 16 and 17. So we are not reading him fully there because we don't have 17 on the swab.
Bese kuthi-ke laphaya phezulu VWA u16, 18 kanye no19. Bese kuthi kuNcube u16 no17, nalapho-ke akatholakali ngokugcwele noma ngokuphelele ngoba-ke u17 asinaye laphaya phezulu.
We will continue with T-pox. You will see on the swab we have 8, 9, 10 and 11. In this one, Ngube, reference sample Ngube has 8 and 11, of which we are able to read him in that one.
Bese kuthi kule ebhalwe T-pox-ke kuno 8, u9, u10 kanye no11. UNcube-ke yena u8 no11, okusho ukuthi-ke u8 ukhona lapha phezulu no11 uyatholakala-ke.
So we are going to D18S51. You will see we have the characters 11, 18 and 20 on the swab, and on the reference sample Ngube we have 10 and 14, of which you could see that that in that region is basically excluded because it's not read in any of those characters.
Bese kuthi kwelandelayo-ke D18S51 amanamba khona-ke u17, 18 kanye no20. Bese kuthi-ke uNcube u10 kanye no14, leyana-ke ayimhlanganisi ngoba lamanamba alakuyena awatholakali lapha phezulu kwiswab.
And then on D5S818 we have on the swab 11, 12 and 13, and then on the reference sample Ngube we have 10 and 13. So we don't include him fully here. You will see we don't have 10 that Ngube has, and on the swab we don't have 10.
Bese kuthi-ke ku D5S818 amanamba khona-ke 11, 12 no 13. uNcube-ke u10 no 13. Okusho ukuthi-ke laphayana-ke akatholakali ngoba u10 lona-ke okuNcube akatholakali noma akekho laphaya kwiswab.
So on the last one, which is FGA, we have 23, 24 and 26 on the swab. So those are the characters, but on the reference sample the characters of Ngube is 21.2 and 23. So even on this one we don't read him fully because we don't have 21.2 on the swab.
Bese kuthi kule eyogcina-ke wena-ke ama-characters atholakalayo-ke eswab u23, u24 no26. Bese kuthi-ke kuNcube u21.2 kanye no23, nalapho-ke akatholakali ngokuphelele ngoba lapha phezulu kwiswab asinayo u21.2.
So altogether, in how many regions of the 16 regions do you rate him in?
So we are reading him in 7 regions.
Ama-regions-ke atholakala-ke kuwona-ke awu-7 Ncube.
Is it not 8 regions? Just check carefully. If you include the gender marker.
If I can read them, we're reading him on the gender marker, which is amylogenin. This is the first one. On the second one is D8S1179. We are reading him there. On the third one is D21S11. We are reading him here, there, which is the third one. So we jump the next one because we are not reading him there. We jump to SF1PO. We are reading him there by 1010.
Bese kuthi ke sidlulela ke ku CSF1PO lapho uyatholakala ngo1010.
So that is the fourth one.
Yesine ke leyo.
The fifth one is D3S1358. We are reading him there. That is the fifth one on D3S1358.
Bese kuthi eyesihlanu ke la region la atholakala khona ke D3S1358.
And then the sixth one is TH01, where we are reading him with at that region, which is the sixth one. So we're gonna jump D13S137 because we are not reading him fully there. We're gonna jump D16S539 because we are not reading him fully there. We're gonna jump D2S1338 because we are not reading him there. We're gonna jump D119S433. So we also jump VWA. VWA, if you look at it, also we are not reading him there. And then the one that we are reading him is T-Pox, which is the seventh one. And then when we go to the next one, after T-Pox is D8S51. We are not reading him there. And then on D5S818, we are not reading him there. On FGA, we are not reading him there. So on my count is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Mangibala-ke mina-ke la ezimhlanganisayo noma-ke i-DNA yakhe-ke emhlanganisayo-ke ziwu-7.
Thank you. You can proceed to the head.
Yeah, we will do the head on Ngqube as well. So on the head, as we start the same way as we do with the gender marker, we can see it's a male, so we can read him there. And then we go to the next one. On the head, we have 14 and 15. On D8S1179, that is the first DNA region. So we have 14 and 15 on the head. Ngube has 12 and 14. So already there we are not reading him.
Mase siqala ke la echaza khona ke ukuthi umuntu wesilisa umuntu wesifazane lapho ke uzobona ke nakusona isigqoko XY nakuyena XY okusho ukuthi iyachaza ukuthi umuntu wesilisa bese ke kulandelayo ke kusona ke isigqoko ngenzansi kwakhe ke uD8S1179 u1415 kusona isigqoko bese kuthi ke kumncube u1214 lapho ke nje seyakhipha ke.
And then the next one is D21S11. You will see that on the head we have 28, 31, and 31.2, and Ngube has 28 and 28. Say there we are including him.
Bese kuthi ke eduze kusona ke isigqoko kufundeka ke u28, 31 no 31.2. Kuyena uNcube kufundeka u28 kanye no28 lapho ke yebo iyamhlanganisa.
And then if we go to D7S820, on the head we have 8, 10 and 11, and then on Ngube has 9 and 11. We are not reading him there.
Bese kuthi kusona ke isigqoko 47. La ngaphansi kwakhe uD7S820 sino 8, 10 no 14 kusona isigqoko sibe no 9 kanye no 11 lapho ke siyamkhipha.
And then we continue we continue with CSF1PO. We have 8, 10 and 12. We have on the head we have 8, 10, 12 and 13, and then Ngube has 10 and 10, so we are reading him there.
Bese kuthi ke ku CSF1PO sona ke isigqoko laphayana sino 8, 10, 12 kanye no 13 kumncube u10, 10 lapho ke yamhlanganisa.
So we'll continue to the next one, which is D3S1358. On the head we have 14, 15, 16 and 17 as characters, and Ngube has 16 and 16, so we are reading him there.
Bese kuthi ke ku D3S1358 sino 14, 15, 16 no 17 uNcube u16, 16 lapho ke ukusho ukuthi ke iyatholakala.
On TH01, that is the region. On the head we have 6, 7 and 8 on the head, and then on the characters on Ngube we have 8 and 8. We are reading him there.
Bese kuthi ke ku TH01 u6, 7 kanye no 8 kumncube u8, 8 okusho ukuthi ke lapho ke uyatholakala yamhlanganisa.
So on D13S317 we have on the head 11 and 11, and Ngube has 12 and 13, so we are not reading him there.
Bese kuthi ke ku D13S317 kusigqoko 11 no 11 kumncube u12, 13 okusho ukuthi ke iyamkhipha lapha ya.
We continue on D16S539. On the head we have 10 and 11, and then Ngube has 9 and 10, so we are not reading him there as well.
Bese kuthi ke la elandelayo D16S539 u10 no 11 kusigqoko bese kuthi ke kumncube u9 no 10 nalapho ke siyamkhipha.
The next one is D2S1338. We have 16, 20 and 21 on the head, and then Ngube has 21 and 25, so we are not reading him there.
Bese kuthi ke kwelandelayo ke sino 16, u20 kanye no 21 kwisigqoko umncube u21 no 25 nalapho iyamkhipha.
So we continue on D19SF433. On the head we have 11, 13 and 14, and then Ngube has 12.2 and 12.2, so we are not reading him there as well.
Olandelayo ke sino 11, 13 no 14 umncube yena ke u12.2 no12.2 nalapho ke iyamkhipha.
On VWA we have 16, 17 and 19 on the head, and then on the reference sample Ncube we have 16 and 17. There we can read him.
Bese kuthi ke ukulandelayo ke isigqoko u16, 17 kanye no19, bese ke kumncube u16 no17 okusho ukuthi ke lapho ke uyatholakala.
On T-pox you will see on the head we have 6, 8, 9 and 11, and then on Ncube we have 8 and 11. We are able to read him.
Bese kuthi ke ku T-pox isigqoko fundeka u6, 8, 9 no11, kumncube u8 no11 lapho ke uyatholakala.
So we continue on D18S 51. We have 17 and 18 on the head, and then on Ncube we have 10 and 14, of which we are not reading him there.
Bese sithola ke kwelandelayo u17 kanye no18 kwisigqoko, kumncube u10 no14 lapho ke umhlanganisi.
The one before last is D5S 818. We have 11, 12 and 13. We have 11, 12 and 13. So on Ncube we have 10 and 13, of which we are not reading him there.
Kwelandelayo ke sino 11, 12 no13, kumncube u10 kanye no13 okusho ke ukuthi ayimhlanganisi.
On the last one, which is FGA, on the head we have 22 and 23 as characters, and on Ncube we have 21.2 and 23, of which we are not reading him there.
Bese kuthi kweyogcina ke sona isigqoko sifunda u22 kanye no23, kuyena uNcube u21.2 no23, nayo ke ayimhlanganisi.
So what is the total number of loci where you can read him in out of the total of 16?
We are reading him in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Utholakala ke kuma regions awu7 kula awu16 akhona.
So in that instance, because we are not reading him fully, he will then be excluded on both the head and the swab.
Laphayana ke ngoba ke engatholakali ke ngokupheleleke kuzo zombili ke iswab kanye naso ke isigqoko kuzokhishwa.
So we'll continue to the next reference sample, which is the one for Ntuli-Fizokuhle.
Sizodlulela ke kwelandelayo ke isample ebuyileyo yakhe uNtuli-Fizokuhle,
which is on the next page, which is page 3 of 5. So we'll start with the swab again.
Sizokhala futhi ngayo ke iswab.
You will see the gender of Fizokuhle, it's a male, and on the swab we also have an indication of a male.
Uzobona ke ukuthi ke uma imchaza ke lapha yana uFizokuhle ukuthi ke umuntu wesilisa nakuyona ke iswab no XY.
The first DNA region we have D8S1179. We have on the swab we have 12, 13 and 14 and 15, and on Fizokuhle we have 13 and 13. We can read him there.
Kweyokuqala ke uD8S1179 ino 12, 13, 14 no 15. Uma subheka kuyena ke uFizokuhle u13 no 13 okusho ukuthi ke iyatholakala khona lapha.
And then the next one is D21S11. We have 27, 28, 29 and 30 on the swab, and then on Fizokuhle we have 28 and 30, so we are able to read him there.
Bese kuthi kwelandelayo ke uD21SS lapho kufundeka u27, u28, u29 kanye no30, bese kuthi mawubheka kuyena ke uFizokuhle u28 no30, kusho ukuthi ke u28 kanye no30 bakhona ke uyatholakala ke khona lapho.
So we continue on D7S820. you will see on the head we have 10, 11, and 12. And then on Fizokuhle we have 8 and 11. So we are excluding him there.
Bese ukuthi ke ku swap 1 ke uzobona ke ukuthi lapha kuno 10, 11 kanye no 12 kuyena office okuhle u8 kanye no 11 lapho ke ayimhlanganisi.
So we continue on D3S1 358. We have 14, 15, and 16 on the head. So when we and then on Fizokuhle we have 14 and 15. So we are including him there.
Bese kuthi lapha yana ke kuyona ke uswap 1 loyana ke sino 14 u15 kanye no 16 kuyena office okuhle sino 14 kanye no 15 lapho ke siyamhlanganisa.
Is it correct that the previous loci CSF1PO there were no results?
Yes, there were no results in that one.
Kulena ke esidlulileke eku CSF1PO ayikho ke imiphumela eyatholakala lapho.
And then even on the next one, TH01 on Fizokuhle, we didn't have a result there.
Naku TH01 kuyena office okuhle nalapho imiphumela asibanga nayo.
And then we continue on D13S317. We have 12 and 12 on the swab, and Fizokuhle has 12 and 14, so we are not reading him there as well.
Bese kuthi ke kwelandelayo sino 12 kanye no 12 ku swab ku Fizokuhle sino 12 no 14 nalapho ke asimhlanganisi noma ke akatholakali.
The next DNA written, which is D16S539, we didn't have the DNA there.
Nakwelandelayo asibanga nayo iDNA khona lapho kuyena Fizokuhle.
As well as the next DNA written D2S1138 and D19S433 on Fizokuhle, we didn't have DNA there.
Nakweyimbili ke ezilandelayo emuva kwaleyo ke Fizokuhle lapho iDNA asibanga nayo.
So we go to the next one where we got DNA is VWA. On the swap we have 16, 18, and 19. On Fizokuhle we have 16 and 17, so we are excluding him there as well.
Bese kuthi ke kwelandelayo uVWA kuyona ke iswap sino 16, 18 kanye no 19 bese kuthi kuFizokuhle sino 16 no 17 nalapho ke ukusho ukuthi ke ayimhlanganisi.
So on T-Pox we didn't get DNA on Fizokuhle.
Bese kuthi kuyona ke iTpox iDNA ayitholakala noma ayibanga khona ke kuyena uFizokuhle.
On D18S51, you will see that we have 17, 18, and 20, and Fizokuhle has 15 and 20, so we are excluding him there.
Bese kuthi ke kwelandelayo ke sino 17, 18 kanye no 20, bese kuthi ke yena Fizokuhle sino 15 no 20 nalapho ke siyamkhipha.
So on D5S818 we have 11, 12, and 13, and then on Fizokuhle we have 11 and 12. We are including him there.
Kwelandelayo ke sino 11, 12 no 13 kuyena Fizokuhle 11 no 12 okusho ke ukuthi ke iyamfaka noma uyatholakala kuyona.
On FGA we have 23, 24, and 26 on the swab, and on Fizokuhle we have 20 and 21, and then we are not reading him there.
Bese kuthi ke ku FGA no 23, 24 no 26 kuyena Fizokuhle 20 no 21 nalapho ke iyamkhipha.
So in total, in how many loci did you read them, and in how many loci could you not find DNA?
On the loci that I didn't find DNA, there are 6.
Kulezo ke kuyena uFizokuhle engatholakala ama DNA kuzona ziwu6.
On the 10 I got DNA on the 10 loci.
Ngase ngithola ke iDNA kweziwu10.
And then I only read it from the 10, I read him on the 5.
bese kuthi kulezi ke eziwu10 iDNA etholakele kuzona ziwu5 ezimhlanganisayo.
So in that case, my Lord, like I said, for us to read an individual, we must read him in all the DNA regions.
Nanjengoba besengishilo ke ukuthi ke umuntu ke ukuze abe uyatholakala ke kufanele ukuthi abe khona ke kuwona onke ama region.
So in that instance, Fizokute will be excluded on the swap.
Lokho kuzosho ukuthi ke kuyona ke iswap ufiso kuhle uzokhishwa.
And then we'll go to the head. On the head, the amylogenin or the gender marker is XY, and in Fizokute as well is an XY, which is a male, so we are including him there.
Bese kuthi uma sesiza kusona ke isigqoko sibheke kusona isigqoko XY nakuyena ufisa kuhle uku XY kusho ukuthi umuntu wesilisa lapho ke siyamhlanganisa.
The next DNA region is D8S1179. You will see that we have on the head we have 14 and 15. However, Fizokute has 13 and 13, so already we are excluding him there.
Bese kuthi ke elandelayo ke region sona isigqoko u14 no15 yena ke ufisa kuhle u13 no13 iyamkhipha ke lapho.
And then on the next DNA region is D21S11. You will see on the head we have 28, 31 and 31.2. So Fizokute has 28 and 30. So we are reading him there.
Bese kuthi ke kuyisigqoko ke kulandelayo 28 to 31 to 31.2 bese kuthi ke yena ke ufisa kuhle u28 and 30. Can you repeat this?
Yeah, on Fizokute we have 28 and 30, and then on the swap we don't have a 30, of which it means we are not reading him there as well.
Futhi ke kusona ke isigqoko 28 u30 u31.2 kufisa kuhle u28 no30 okusho ukuthi u30 lo otholakala kufisa kuhle akekho lana ke kusigqoko okusho ukuthi ke siyamkhipha khona lapho.
So we continue on D7S820. You will see that on the head we have 8, 10 and 14, and then on Fizokute we have 8 and 11. We are already excluding him there.
Good D7S820 sino 8 to 10 kanye no 14 bese futhi ke kuyena ke ufisa kuhle sibe no 8 kanye no 11 lapho ke sesiyamkhipha.
And then the next one we didn't get the DNA, which is SF1PO, and then we'll go to the next DNA region, which is D3S1358. You will see on the head we have 14, 15, 16 and 17, and then Fizokute has 14 and 15, so we are able to read him there.
Bese ke kuthi ke ku CSF1PO lapho ke DNA ayitholakalanga kwelandelayo ke D3S1358 no 14, 15, 16 kanye no 17 kuyena ufisa kuhle u14 no 15 okusho ukuthi ke iyamhlanganisa.
So the next DNA region, which is TH01, we are not reading, we don't have the DNA, we'll pass it.
Sizoyindlula ke elandelayo TH01 asinayo ke DNA kuyena ufisa kuhle.
So the next one is D13S317. We have on the head 11 and 11, and Fizokute has 12 and 14. We are excluding him there.
Kwelandelayo kusigqoko 11 no 11 ufisa kuhle u12 no 14 ayimhlanganisike.
So we're going to pass the 3, which is D16S539, D2S1338, and D19S433, because we didn't have DNA there on Fizokute.
Lezi zintathu ke engizengibizile ke sizoyidlula ke ngoba ke asibanga nayo DNA lapho kuyena ufisa kuhle.
So we have VWA. On the head we have 16, 17 and 19, and then on Fizokute we have 16 and 17, so we are reading him there.
Bese kuthi ke kusona-ke isigqoko ku-VWH no-16 no-17 kanye no-19 kuye no-ofisa okuhle no-16 no-17 okusho-ke ukuthi-ke uyatholakala lapho.
T-Pox, we didn't have DNA on Fizokuhle, we'll pass it.
Sizomdlula-ke u-T-Pox ngoba-ke ayitholakalanga-ke i-DNA kuye no-ofisa okuhle.
On D18S51, we have on the head, we have 17 and 18 on the head, and then 15 and 20 on Fizokuhle, so we are not reading him there.
Kulandelayo-ke kusona-ke isigqoko sino-17 kanye no-18 bese kuthi-ke no-ofisa okuhle u-15 no-20 lapho-ke akatholakali.
So we'll do D5 S818. You will see on the head we have 11, 12 and 13, and then on Fizokuhle we have 11 and 12, so we are able to read it.
Bese kuthi kwelandelayo-ke kusona isigqoko kufundeka u-11, u-12 no-13 kuye no-ofisa okuhle kufundeka u-11 no-12 okusho-ke ukuthi-ke iyahlanganisa.
And then on the last one is FGA. We have on the head 22 and 23. However, Fizokuhle has 20 and 21, so we are not reading him there.
Kugcina-ke u-FGA no-22 no-23 kuye no-ofisa okuhle u-20 no-21 ekusho ukuthi leyo-ke ayimhlanganisi.
So what that tells us is that Fizokuhle is excluded on both the head and the swab.
Lokho-ke kusitshela-ke ukuthi kuzona zombili-ke iswab kanye naso-ke isigqoko ufisa okuhle siyakhipha.
In how many loci did you read him in on the head, and in how many did you not obtain DNA?
The ones that I didn't obtain DNA, there are 6, and then the ones that I obtained DNA, there were 10.
Kweziwu-6-ke i-DNA kuye nofisa okuhle ayitholakalanga la i-DNA itholakale khona-ke ziwu-10.
So on the 10, on the head, we only read him 3 times.
Kulezi eziwu-10-ke la i-DNA itholakale khona kusona isigqoko kukathathu-ke la atholakala noma emhlanganisayo-ke khona.
So I'm continuing with the last one. If you look at the top part before the last one is written Tembisa South with the case number 217 of 3/2019, which means that particular reference sample was brought in that case. So it was they said to us that we need to use the reference sample of that particular individual in that case to be compared with the DNA results that are obtained in phosphorus case 636 of 10/2014.
Sizodlulelake ogcina-ke manje-ke isample kodwa uzobona-ke lapha ngaphezulu kuyona kubhaliwe Tembisa South Case 21703/2019 abasitshela kona-ke ukuthi kuzofanele-ke sisebenzise-ke lawo masample lawo-ke abuya-ke kuleyo case leyo-ke yaseTembisa ebhaliwe laphayana siqhathanise-ke nayo-ke imiphumela yale phosphorus case 63610 of 2014.
So in the reference sample from that Tembisa South case, it was from Sibiya MS with that container number and the bag number as I mentioned.
Lapho-ke kuleyo-ke yaseTembisa-ke bekuyiyona-ke ekaSibiya MS nayo-ke inamba leyo ye-container kanye nenamba leyo-ke yesikhwama sezobufakazi.
So we'll do the same for the reference sample of Sibiya, just to check whether we are able to read him or not on both the swab and the head.
Sizokwenza lokho kube sesikwenzile-ke nakwabanye-ke kuyena-ke uSibiya ukubheka-ke ukuthi uyatholakala yini noma uyakwazi yini ukuthi axhunyaniswe-ke nayo-ke iswab noma-ke isigqoko.
So if you look at Sibiya on the head, on the swab first, you will see that on the swab the gender is a male. Sibiya is also is a male. So on the first one we are able to say we will read him.
uzobona ke ukuthi kuyona ke iswap XY na kuyena ke usibiya uXY okushoyo ke ukuthi ke umuntu wesilisa kuleyo ke izohlanganisa ke.
And then on the swap, the first D8S1179, on the swap we have 12, 13, 14 and 15, and then Sibiya has 13 and 14, so we are able to read in there.
Bese kuthi ke kuyona iswap eyoqala ke column 12, 13, 14 no 15 kusibiya ke u13 no 14 lapho ke okushoyo ukuthi ke iyahlanganisa.
And then as we continue with D21S11, you will see on the swap we have 27, 28, 29 and 30, and Sibiya has 29 and 31, so we are excluding him there.
Kwelandelayo ke kuyona iswap 27, 28, 29 no 30 bese ke Sibiya kufundeka u29 no 31 okushoyo ukuthi lapho ke sesiyamkhipha ke.
And then on D7 S820, on the swap we have 10, 11 and 12, and then on Sibiya we have 11, 11, so we are reading him there.
Bese kuthi kwelandelayo ke sino 10, 11 no 12 kusibiya 11 no 11 lapho ke iyamfaka ke.
And then on the next one, which is CS1PO, we have 8, 10 and 12, and then on Sibiya we have 11 and 12, so we are excluding him there.
Kwelandelayo ke sino 8, 10 no 12 kusibiya kufundeka 11 no 12 lapho isiyamkhipha ke.
We go to the next one, which is the 8S1358. On the swap we have 14, 15 and 16. However, on Sibiya we have 14 and 17, so we are excluding him there.
Kwiswap sino 14, u15 kanye no 16, kusibiya u14 kanye no 17 nalapho siyamkhipha.
So we'll go to TH01. You will see on the swap we have 7 and 8. On Sibiya we have 7 and 9, so we are excluding him there.
With THO sino 7, 8 kwiswap, kusibiya sino 7, 9 lapho siyamkhipha.
On the next one is D13S317. We have 12 and 12 on the swap. Sibiya has 10 and 11. We are excluding him there.
Kwelandelayo ke u12, 12 kwiswap, kusibiya u10 no 11 nalapho ke isiyamkhipha.
And then we go to D16S539. You will see on the swap we have 9, 11, 12 and 14. And then Sibiya has 10 and 12, so we are excluding him there.
Bese kuthi ke kwiswap sino 9, 11, 12 no 14 kusibiya u10 no 12 lapho ke iyamkhipha.
So on the next one, which is D2S1338, we have 19 and 24 on the swap, and Sibiya has 21 and 21. We are also excluding him there.
Bese kuthi ke kwelandelayo ke iswap ino 19 no 24 kusibiya 21, 21 nalapho iyamkhipha.
So we continue with D19S433. You will see on the swap you have 7, 11, 13, 14 and 15.2, and Sibiya has 12 and 15, which means he's not included in that one.
Kwelandelayo ke kwiswap u7, 11, 13, 14 no 15.2 bese kuthi ke kusibiya u12 no 15 okusho ukuthi ke nakulena ke akatholakala.
So we continue to VWA. We have 16, 18 and 19, and then on the reference sample we have 15 and 17, so we are also excluding him there.
Kwelandelayo ke uVWA kwiswap kuno 16, 18 no 19 yena ke usibiya u15 no 17 nalapho ke ayimfaki.
So we continue with T-POPs. We have 8, 9, 10 and 11 as characters on the swap, and then we have 9 and 11 as characters of Sibiya. We are including him there.
Bese kuthi ke ku T-Pox kuno 8, 9, 10 no 11 otholakalayo laphayana ke kwiswap. Kusibiya kutholakala u9 no11 okusho ukuthi ke u9 okhona kusibiya ukhona ku T-Pox, u11 okhona kusibiya ukhona ku T-Pox, lapho ke iyamhlanganisa.
We go to the to D18 S51. We have 17, 18 and 20 on the swap. On Sibiya we have 19 and 19, so we are excluding him there.
Kulandelayo ke 17, 18 no 20 kusibiya kufundeka u19 no 19 okusho ukuthi ke leyo ke akatholakali kuyona.
And then we continue on D5 S818. You will see that on the swap we have 11, 12 and 13, and then on Sibiya we have 12 and 12, which we can include in there.
Bese kuthi kulandelayo ke sino 11, 12 no 13 kusibiya kufundeka u12 no 12 okusho ukuthi ke leya 12 ke uyamhlanganisa lapha.
On FGA, which is the last one, we have 24, 20, 23, 24 and 26 on the swap, and however on Sibiya we have 22 and 25, of which we are not including him there.
Kuyogcina ke FGAs no 23, 24 no 26 bese kuthi ke kusibiya no 22 no 25 okusho ukuthi ke lapho ke ayimfaki.
So in how many lots do you rate him in?
I'm rating him in 5 of the 16.
Utholakala ke kweziwu5 kulezi eziwu16.
So I will continue and do the head with the reference sample of Sibiya as well. On the head, also Sibiya has XY, and on the head we can see we have XY. We are able to read him there.
So na ke isigqoko siyabona ukuthi sino XY nakuyena ke uSibiya uXY lapho ke singatsho ke ukuthi ke iyamhlanganisa.
And then we go to the next DNA region, D8S1179. On the head we have 14 and 15. On Sibiya we have 13 and 14. We are not reading him there.
Bese kuthi kwelandelayo ke kusona isigqoko sino 14 no 15 uSibiya u13 kanye no 14 okusho ukuthi asimfaki lapho.
On D21S11 on the head we have 28, 31 and 31.2. On Sibiya we have 21, 29 and 31, of which we are not reading him there.
Bese kuthi kwelandelayo ke sino 28 kusona isigqoko 28, 31 no 31.2 kuyena uSibiya u29 no 31 nalapho ke ayimfaki.
So we go to the next DNA region, which is D7S820. You will see on the head we have 8, 10 and 14. On Sibiya we have 11 and 11, of which we are excluding him there.
Bese kuthi ke kwelandelayo ke sona isigqoko sino 8, 10 no 14 kuyena uSibiya u11 no 11 okusho ukuthi ke ayimfaki.
On the head, on CSF1PO, that is the region of the DNA, on the head we have 8, 10, 12 and 13. Sibiya has 11 and 12, so we are not reading him there.
Bese kuthi ku CSF1PO sino ekwisigqoko sino 8, 10, 12 and 13 kuSibiya sino 11 no 12 okusho ukuthi ke ayimfaki.
Captain, if you can go back to D7S820.
D7S20, yes. On the head we have
8, 10 and 11.
8, 10 and 11. My apologies that I was writing with my pen.
And it's got 11 and 11.
Yes, so we'll definitely review there.
Masibuyela nje umuva ke kancane lana ku D7S820 uCaptain umefunda uthe u8, 10 and 14. Kodwa uthi ke ebebhala ke lapha buka kungathi u14 kodwa ke u8, 10, 11 bese kuthi nakuyena ke ubheka lana ke kuSibiya u11 no 11 okusho ukuthi ke iphutha ke lenzile lapho ke iyamfaka akusiyena u14 kodwa u11.
Then we will continue to D3 1358. On the head we have 14, 15, 16 and 17. On Sibiya we have 14 and 17. We are able to read in there.
Bese kuthi ke kwelandelayo ke sino 14, 15, 16 and 17. Kuyena uSibiya sino 14 no 17 akushoyo ukuthi ke lapho iyafaka. On TH01, that is the region of the DNA on the head, we have 6, 7 and 8, and then on the reference sample we have 7 and 9, of which we are not reading here. Lapha kusona isigqoko sino 6, u7 no8, yena uSibiya u7 no9 akushoyo ukuthi ke lapho ayimfaki.
On D13, on the head we have on D13S 317, on the head we have 11 and 11, and then Sibiya has 10 and 11, so we are not reading him there.
Bese kuthi ke kusona ke isigqoko kutholakala 11 kuyena uSibiya kufundeka u10 11 okusho ukuthi ke lapho ayimfaki.
So we continue on D16S 539. You will see on the head we have 10 and 11. Sibiya has 10 and 12. So we are not reading him there.
Landelayo ke kwisigqoko sino 10 no 11, uSibiya kufundeka u10 no 12 nalapho ke ayimfaki.
The next one, D2S1338. On the head we have 16, 20 and 21. And then Sibiya has 21 and 21. We are able to read him.
Elandelayo ke kwisigqoko u16, 20 no 21 bese kuthi ke kuSibiya u21, 21 okushoyo ukuthi ke lapho iyamfaka.
So the next one is D19S433. We have 11, 13 and 14 on the head, and on Sibiya we have 12 and 15, of which we are excluding him there.
Landelayo ke kwisigqoko 11, 13 no 14 kuSibiya u12, 15 okushoyo ukuthi nayo ke ayimfaki.
And then we continue to VWA. On the head we have 16, 17 and 19, and then Sibiya has 15 and 17. So in that case we are not reading him.
Bese kuthi ke ku VWA u16, 17, 19 ofundekayo kwisigqoko uSibiya u16, 17 and 19 kwisigqoko uSibiya u15 and 17 eshoyo ukuthi ke ayimfaki.
So we continue on T-Pox. On T-Pox you will see on the head we have 6, 8, 9 and 11 on the head, and then on Sibiya we have 9 and 11, so we are able to read in there.
Bese kuthi ke ku T-Pox kusona isigqoko sino 6, 8, 9 no 11 uSibiya sino 9 no 11 okusho ukuthi lapho ke iyamfaka.
And then we will do D18S51. You will see on the head we have 17 and 18, and Sibiya has 19 and 19, so we are not reading him there.
Kwelandelayo ke u17, 18 kwisona isigqoko kuSibiya u19, 19 ayimfaki.
So we go to D5S818. On the head we have 11, 12 and 13, and then Sibiya has 12 and 12, we are reading him there.
Bese kuthi kwelandelayo ke kwisigqoko kufundeka u11, u12 no 13 kuyena uSibiya u12, 12 iyamfaka.
So the last one is FGA. On the head we have 22 and 23, and then Sibiya has 22 and 25, of which we are not reading here.
Kuyogcina ke FGA kusona isigqoko u22, 23 uSibiya u22, 25 ayimhlanganisa.
So in how many loci did you read him?
It's about 1, 2, 3, 4, about 6.
Lezi u6 ke ezimfakayo noma ke ezimhlanganisayo noma ama-region ke amhlanganisayo.
So in that case, my Lord, it means Sibiya is excluded on both the swab and the head as well.
lokho okusho ukuthi ke usibiya kuyona iswap nakusona ke isigqoko naye ke uyakhishwa.
Page 4.
So I will go to page 4. Basically, page 4 talks to the findings in terms of writing. Here I wrote them down, but it was as I was talking to you here, excluding. But now I will read it down. So on paragraph 4.1, it says, I say that the donors of the following reference samples were excluded as the donors of the DNA on the swab 1 with that container number 14DCAH8988 with that bag number PA4002150-107 and the head B, which is the DNA presumable high friction area, and the bag number is PA30007888535 of phosphorus case 636 of 10/2014.
Lana ke imiphumela ke le engiqeda ukuyichazana ukuthi ke manje sengiyibhale nje phansi ke ukuthi ngichaza ukuthi ke abanikazi ke balama sample ke bakhishiwe ke ukuthi kungaba yibona ke abanikazi baye be DNA ku swab 1 14 naleya container number 14 DCAH8988 ene number ke yesikhwama PA4002150107 kanye ke nesigqoko noma uhead B ngokuthi ke kunemixture ke noma ke kunemixture ekhona ke lapho PA30007888535 phosphorus case 6361014.
So those reference samples that are excluded, we start with 4.1.1, which is MZ Makisa with that with that container number 19DBAF0198 with the bag number PA4046388062, as well as Mapisa Mtokozeni with the bag number 13DBAD5906. That is the container number, and the bag number is PA5002176171. And then the next one is Ntanzi BS Ntanzi, which is 19DBAN1076, and then the bag number is PA40047187737. The third is Mube, which is the container is 20DBAS6469, and then the bag number is PA400493624. And then the fourth one is Ntuli Fizogulhe. The container number is 13DBAD7184, and the bag number is PA50021777590, and the last one is via MS with the container number 17DBBG2598, and the bag number is PA400382747.
Laba ke kuthiwa ke banikazi balama sample futhi ke bayakhishwa noma abahlanganiswa ke nayo ke iDNA. Yilabo abalandelayo: MZ Mapisa i-container number yama-sample akhe 19DBAF0198, kanye-ke i-back number yona PA 4004638662 kanye noma P Samthokoziseni container number 13DBAD5906 i-back number PA 5002176171 kanye-ke 4.1.2 BS Ntanzi container number 19DBAN1076 back number PA 4004718737 4.1.3 M Mngqube container number 20DBAS6469 back number PA 4004936249 4.1.4 Ntuli Fisokuhle container number 13DBAD7184 back number PA 5002177590 kanye no 4.1.5 Usibiya MS container number 17DBBG2598 ne back number LPA 4003827407.
So, my Lord, those particular, the donors of those reference samples were excluded as the donors of the DNA that was found on the swab and also on the head.
Manje-ke laba-ke abaqeda ukufundwa-ke bakhishiwe-ke bona-ke ukuthi-ke bona-ke abandlulisela noma-ke abashiya-ke i-DNA kuyona uswab 1 noma kanye futhi naso isiqobo.
My Lord, the case file and its contents were in my safekeeping for the duration of investigation from the date of receipt until completion, and I then signed the statement and then it was commissioned.
Ngifuna-ke nokuchazela-ke inkantolo ukuthi-ke ifayili lena-ke yecase kanye nabo bonke okungaphakathi kuyona-ke yayigcinwe yimina-ke safe ngaso sonke-ke isikhathi sophenyo kusukela ngelanga-ke engayithola ngazo kwaze kwayilanga la engiqeda khona-ke ukwenza uphenyo ngasayinda-ke babe beseyi-commissioner futhi.
And the date?
The date is 22, that is the year of April 28.
I-28 is April 2022.
Sorry, just repeat the date.
That is the 28th of April 2022.
And you adhere to your report and confirm the correctness thereof?
Yes, my Lord.
Now, if I can draw your attention to page 4, paragraph 4.1. You've explained that in order that there must be a match, there has to be a match on all 16 regions of the DNA.
Yes.
In other words, there must be a full profile.
Ngikushilo-ke ukuthi-ke ukuze-ke ukuthi uyatholakala noma-ke umuntu ahlanganiswe-ke kufanele ukuthi kuwona onke lama regions lona atholakale kuwona, ukuthi atholakale kwathize kwamanye angatholakali.
And the result, or the conclusion that you arrived at was based on the fact that the donors of the reference sample were not included on some of the loci of the DNA. Is that correct?
Yes, my Lord. What it must be understood, my Lord, is even if we didn't get on a reference sample, we didn't get at certain region, we didn't get DNA. The fact that where we got the DNA, you are excluded. Even if we were to take your reference sample again and type it, you will still be excluded on the ones that you are already excluded.
Engifisa nje ukugcizelela nokusho-ke ukuthi ma kubhekwa-ke kuyona-ke isample yakho bese kuthi-ke lapho-na-ke i-DNA ibithathwa khona-ke ukhishiwe noma ayitholakali noma bekuwukuthi-ke besingaphinde futhi amasample akho siwathathe lana ubuse u-excludiwe noma ukhishiwe khona-ke kusezohlala ukanjalo.
Now, does the fact that no DNA could be found in certain places, in certain loci, does that influence the final result?
it influenced the interpretation of the results in terms of saying that it will then become that you are not be able to read the person on that particular sample because you are not reading him fully in all the DNA regions. So that's where the influence is.
Ukuthi ke kuba nomthelela ke ukuthi kwindawo ethize ke noma kuma regions athize ama DNA ingatholakali ke yebo lokho ke uma ke usuchaza ke noma usu-interpreta ke imiphumela ke ukuthi yebo ke akhonakalanga ukuthi ke umuntu atholakala noma ke afundeke ngokuphelele ngoba kwindawo kuma region athize ama DNA awatholakala.
Now in the field of DNA, do you only exclude and include, or is there a midway in between? Say, for instance, partial inclusion.
In our case, we include and exclude, and in some instance where we don't include you, let's say in one region, we'll say no conclusion. So if, let's say, we are not including you in one region, we'll write it as a no conclusion. So we wouldn't say we are including you or we are excluding you. We'll just give it to say, well, we can't make a final conclusion on this particular individual.
Thina ke kuwethu umsebenzi ukuthi ke siyatholakala noma ke iyafaka noma ke iyakhipha noma ke uma ngaba kungekho ke okutholakalayo sithi ke akukho esingasho ukuthi ke kuyatholakala noma ukhona.
Now, just in general, are there any factors that can lead to a situation where a suspect DNA is not found on the crime scene? Just in general.
My Lord, it will be
or are there, let's put it this way, sorry, are there any factors that can lead to a suspect's DNA not being found on the crime scene?
My Lord, for me to say that it will be using like common knowledge to say anyone can be, if your DNA is not on the scene, for me now it will be using my common knowledge to say maybe you didn't touch anything on the scene, of which I wouldn't like to go too much on that.
Angeke ngithandeke ukuthi ke kuphele kakhulu ke ngoba uma ngingathi ke manje ukuthi iDNA yakho ingatholakala kwindawo yesigameko ukuthi mhlambe ke akukho okubambile kodwa ke angeke ngeze ngithande ukuthi ngiye khona lapho.
Thank you, my Lord, for this one.
Thanks. Yes, Mr. Representative. Thank you, my Lord. Just one question, and I'm going to ask that Exhibit C of Musia be shown to the witness, my Lord. Now, Captain, if you look at Exhibit C, there's a picture of a head. Photo number 6. That will be the head that was swapped for the DNA material from the scene. Do you see that?
Yes, I see that, my Lord.
Now, for contextual purposes, witnesses have testified that after the incident on the 26th of October 2014, Makhumalo, that is Kelly Khumalo and Zandile Khumalo's mother, had this hat, and she was showing it to the people, witnesses, gatherers, that one of the persons that was wearing this hat was involved in the shooting of Senzo Meyiwa. Now my question is simply this. In relation to the evidence now that we have led concerning her statement and the 5 people that are currently in front of court, what is your comment, if you can comment on that?
Please, Manoj, I think it's not a fair question to the witness. This is what this court is seized with, to determine the issue that my learned friend is putting to the witness.
Yes, Mr. Ramsepi.
My Lord, at the end of my question, I qualified it with a proviso that if he can answer, he can prefer an answer.
Yeah, but give the expert. Remember I told you last time.
Yes.
The full scenario. This
Makhumalo
is not the only one. Wait.
Yes.
Makhumalo is not the only one who says there was a hat involved.
Yes.
Zandile says that. To me, even Mukiti says that. About 6 witnesses say that.
Let me give you the contextual again background. Witnesses that were in the house, that will be Tumelo Madala, Togozi Sitwala, Zandile Khumalo, and the witnesses that allegedly say they were outside, Mukete, testified that one of the persons that entered the house, the one that possessed a firearm, was wearing a hat, and this is the hat that was shown as evidence that was left behind. Now, later on, when people gathered and the police, when she was doing demonstrations to the police from the hospital, she showed the police this hat and said one of the perpetrators who was involved was wearing this particular hat that is left behind. Now my question simply, as I stated before, is that in the context of her statement that one of the persons was wearing this hat and your conclusions now scientifically, what are you saying with respect to that hat and the 5 people that are in front of court today?
My Lord, for me it will be difficult to comment on what other witnesses have said, and for me it's just to say that the DNA that was obtained on the rim of that particular head excluded the suspect that I mentioned in my report. That is the only thing that I could say.
Mina ke kuzoba nzima ke ukuthi ngiphawuleke kokushiwo abanye ofakazi mayelana soke isigqoko lesi, kodwa mina engikushilo ukuthi ke mina ke uma ngenza uphenyo lami ke kuyona ke irim la ngaphakathi kusona isigqoko lesiyana ukuthi lokho ke kuyabakhipha ke abasolwa laba engibachazile noma ke ababhaliwe lapha kuyambiko wami.
If I may push it further, just for conclusion, to a reasonable degree of your DNA analysis, let me take it to my clients accused number 1 and 2. Would you say one of them was wearing or was not wearing that hat, given the DNA analysis that you've done?
The witnesses on the scene, that's the evidence of this court, say a hat was worn.
Okay. Let me leave it, my lord. It doesn't take us any further. I mean, thank you.
Yes, sir.
I've got no question.
Yes, Mr. Mimala.
I have no cross-examination to this witness. Thank you.
Thank you, my lord. Okay, I've got just few questions on clarity from your report. I heard that you said from the report you will do the preliminary test first before you will proceed with those samples. My question.
Yes, my lord.
My question is, did you receive any sample which would have been lifted from the door hanging of the main door? Did you receive any sample from the door hanging of the main door? From the samples that you received in your report, whether it passed test or did not pass test?
Can Council clarify which one is the main door, my lord? The question is very vague, with the greatest of respect.
Can you rephrase, my lord?
Yes.
Did you receive any sample, maybe marked as sample from the main door or exit door? Because you read the samples from the bedroom, bedroom 1 and bedroom 2 respectively. I'm just asking if you did receive any sample referred to the exit door or main door.
No, I haven't seen any sample that is that is characterized by those ways.
Ayikho ke noma wekho amasample engawathola la ebabhalwe khona ke i-main door noma ke isicabha ke ekuphunywa kusona.
Okay. And then also from the last page, which is page 4 of 5, you read in the samples under the name of Fisogute, which is paragraph 4.1.4, and you read the samples which you received in brackets referred to as 13 DBAD 7184. You see that one?
Yes, madam.
What kind of sample that you received there?
It's a buccal sample.
It's a buccal?
Yeah, it's the swab that is taken from the mouth.
Lana ke ku 4.1.4 balonkulu fisobuhle naleya container number ke u13 DBAD 7184 isample engayithola ke isample ke le ethathwa ke emlonyeni.
Okay, when did you receive it?
My lord, I'm going to have to refer to my file. I do have that particular sample, so I can always go back and give you the date that it was received.
Please, because I was trying to get it from your report. I only see the date when you received the case file, but I don't see the date when you received the samples that are referred in your report.
Okay.
Maybe
I do have the file,
okay,
which is in front of me, and my lord, I will give you the dates.
My lord, maybe in the meantime, can I just ask for a short adjournment while he's getting the dates, so that I can also take just few instructions regarding that, my lord.
Okay, fine.
Thank you, my lord.
Following, what's your time?
12:05.
What?
12:05.
Okay, 15 minutes.
Thank you, my lord.